Good evening, old school Texas Tech. Hope everyone is doing well. It's a hot night here in South America and Colombia, but I wanted to come out with another schedule prediction. This is going to be our second opponent of the season, Washington State. So Washington State brings four. They have four returning starters on the offensive line. They've got a new quarterback, but they seem pretty excited about him. They've got their head coach coming back, unlike the other remaining member of the pack. Whatever it was to the Pac-2. Oregon State's got a new coach. Washington State's coach is returning. They had a disappointing season last year. I think they only won four games, but many of their games were like one possession losses. So it's a little bit misleading. They're definitely a good team. They've got their leading tacklers back, but then some of the other parts of their core defense transfer. But it sounds like they've done a pretty good job in the portal. So it seems like they're at least going to have a decent front seven, decent secondary. So their first game of the year, Portland State's a home game for them. I think they're going to easily win that game. Second game of the year is a home game against Texas Tech. This is an interesting matchup. Obviously, everyone's going to talk about the Mike Leach connection. The two teams haven't played in 60 years. I just think in this game, it's certainly a game Tech could lose. I just think because we have stability at quarterback, we've got our starter coming back. It looks like we've done some good things we don't know if we won't know for sure until the game start, but it looks like we've done some good things in the transfer portal with the offensive line. And obviously, getting Taj Brooks back is going to be huge. I think we're going to be able. They don't have a great running game. They didn't last year. It's kind of hard to imagine that they're going to be much better at running the ball this year. And I think that we'll be able to. I think we'll be able to stop them with our secondary. Also, one of their leading receivers actually transferred to Tech, Josh Kelly. So I just think Tech's going to be a little bit too much for them. We have a little bit too much stability for them and too many returning starters at key positions. So I think Tech will win, but it could definitely go either way. It's definitely a game I think we're all a little bit concerned about. It's the one out of the three non-conference games I think we're definitely the most concerned about. Their third game of the year is against their in-state rival, Washington. It's an away game. I think they're going to lose that game. They played them very close last year, just within a field goal. But I think they're going to lose on the road at Washington. Their next game is against San Jose State. It is in Pullman. San Jose State's definitely in a total rebuild. It sounds like their roster's pretty much in shambles. So I think Washington State's going to easily win that game. Then they play two of the more difficult teams in the group of five. Boise State may very well be the best team in the group of five. A lot of people think they will actually end up making a playoff. That's going to be a loss for Washington State. Then they have a bye week and they play another really good group of five team, Fresno State. And for another bad thing is both those games are on the road. So I think both of those will be losses for Washington State. I think they will come back and win five of their last six. They've got Hawaii at home on October 19th. I believe they will win that game. Some people are worried about them. It's at San Diego State, but San Diego State, if you look at what they did last year and what they've got returning, I'm not really worried about it. I think Washington State will win that game. I think Washington State will easily beat Utah State. They've got a bunch of drama with a coaching change that happened way later than normal. Washington State at New Mexico, they've got a new head coach. I don't think they're going to be ready to. I don't think they're going to be ready. They're not going to have enough talent to compete with Washington State, even though that game is in Albuquerque. Washington State, Oregon State's going to be a really emotional game. I'm sure the two remaining teams of the conference. If it were in Pullman, I think I would pick Washington State, but it's going to be on the road. So I'm going to go with Oregon State winning that game. That'll be a great game. Probably going to draw a lot of national interest for a lot of different reasons. Definitely, I think a lot of people in the country that we're not necessarily all that familiar with these two programs, are kind of pulling for both of them, just given what's happened to them with conference realignment. The last game of the year, Washington State comes home and plays Wyoming. As Texas Tech fans, we definitely know how dangerous they can be. Their coach retired, but one of his top assistants took over. Sounds like Wyoming's got a good running game, but they're a little bit one-dimensional. They play really fundamentally sound, but I would think at that point, being a home game, Washington State's probably going to have some of their chemistry issues worked out on offense. I think Washington State will beat Wyoming. If that game were in Laramie, I would actually pick Wyoming, but it's in Pullman, so I'm going to go Washington State. So I actually have Washington State winning seven games this year, going 7-5, which should get them in a nice bowl. I think they're going to be a good team. They definitely could win some other games. I think they're in danger of losing some of them too, but they could even could easily go 8-4, or maybe even 9-3 wouldn't be out of the question. I think they do have a lot of potential. Definitely the game against Texas Tech is going to be really important for both teams. All right. Thank you. Enjoyed it. I will see you guys soon. I'm going to keep doing these predictions for opponents across the country.